going on, everybody? Nat. My wife's got a greenhouse going on in her computer room, growing some plants for the summertime. Um, I'd rather not make videos like this because I would rather not be doing what we're all having to do currently. I would rather be doing other things. I would love to go back to the day where complaining about politics was way down on the list of my priorities. But unfortunately, we are where we are. Um, because as a people, we have taken our eye off what's really important. We are now coming into celebrating a season that's supposed to be about love and caring for one another. And while a lot of people are distracted by the Christmas lights and the sales, we have people that are being snatched off of streets. I seen a picture today of a young woman who was bleeding from her head from a cop's baton because of a confrontation with police, while the rest of the country is distracted by money and greed. We have people out here fighting the good fight. My concern is, will the peaceful protest be enough? I hope with all my being that we can do it that way. But the realistic side of me is fully aware that it may not be enough. So I send this message. We need to be prepared for the worst. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That means not waiting until shit really hits the fan. Before you learn skills you may find necessary. Before you find others that you may need to back you up. We are heading that direction quickly. And I can tell you my concern. Watching people on talk shows discussing midterms and claiming that with everything going on, the Democrats should take back control of the House and the Senate. Let me give you a quick reason why I think that's bullshit. Mike Johnson refused to seat a duly elected representative from Arizona. For how long? And it was only until he absolutely had to that he finally swore her in. They don't care about doing the right thing. They don't care if it's illegal or legal. They are wiping their feet with the Constitution every day. I don't doubt that they've taken it out of the museum and set it up in the White House somewhere so they can all spit on it. They don't care. They care about one thing, and that's themselves and whatever they can do to enrich themselves, to empower themselves. The comment I've seen today, and I see regularly, is people continue to talk about the midterms. And that, again, with everything going the way it's going, that if you held the election today, there's a good chance that the Democrats would take control of the House and the Senate. Here's what you should be thinking about. They're fully aware of that themselves. They realize that also. They do. Which should tell you that your chances of a fair and free election in 2026, I would put the odds well below 10% because they know what happens. The pedophile in the White House knows what happens. We're coming into December. Representative Green is already going to file impeachment papers now. If the Democrats were to take control of the House and the Senate, they know exactly what would happen. They would all be impeached and removed and then probably charged with the crimes they are committing today. We have a War Department that is targeting boats off of Venezuela, claiming that they're running drugs. Sure. And if they are, there is a way to handle that. If we can track these boats on the water, we can intercept these boats and do it the right way. But they're not doing it the right way because they're trying to start a war in Venezuela. And it's not because of drugs. Trust me, Hegseth is not going to do anything that's going to make cocaine more expensive for himself. And I can guarantee you his supply is not being interrupted. This is about resources, and Venezuela has those. That's what they want. That's what Putin wants with Ukraine. They use the premise that they're doing something to the criminal, to the fascist. Putin's, that's his war in Ukraine, supposedly. No, it's about the natural gas fields under eastern Ukraine. That's what he wants. It's about money and power. They can never have enough, as we see with the top 1% in this country. They can't never have enough. And God forbid any normal working person ever get any themselves. But I'm just, my opinion, we better prepare now in case what we're doing today isn't effective. Because they're not planning on giving up power. They have no plan of giving up power. Look what they're doing to their own taxpayers. Their base. Look what they're doing to their base as far as healthcare premiums and SNAP benefits. These don't just affect liberals and minorities. This affects rural red states. Their people. They don't care anymore. They are not planning on giving a shit about the next election. They're not planning on recognizing the next election. They will claim the results to be fraudulent, and the Supreme Court will back them up. That's where we are. So we better be prepared for the next option. And again, we can hope that this Congress pulls its head out of its ass and decides they might not want to wait for the Nuremberg trials and do the right thing now. But if you hold your breath and wait for that to happen, trust me, we will all pass out before it does. I've always been told, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That's what we need to be doing. Because if we don't, when shit hits the fan, that's a very bad time to start learning lessons. You better have learned those lessons before we get there. That's what I got. Appreciate you taking time. Have a good night.